XT20, XT2, or wait for the XT3? Hey guys, Omar here, and last year the decision between buying the Fuji XT20 and buying the Fuji XT2 was a lot easier. So if you wanted a camera with the same sensor as the Fuji XT2 that was powerful, had a touch screen, was small to carry around, and was almost half the price, then the Fuji XT20 was a no-brainer. However, with Fuji dropping the price of the Fuji XT2 by $500, the difference between these two cameras is now $200. I know math. So, should I pick one up? Okay, you know how much I love the Fuji XT20. It's my baby. You know, the mistake I made was actually I picked it up and looked in the EVF, the beautiful big EVF. We'll get to that. Okay, XT20, XT2, or wait for the XT3? Well, let's talk about waiting first. There's a perfectly good argument for waiting to see if there's a camera coming from Fuji called the XT3, the successor of the Fuji XT2. Now, there's just rumors right now. Nothing has been announced. So if you already have a camera that you're kind of happy with, my recommendation is to wait. Chances are in September at the big Photo Fest thing, Fuji may announce the Fuji XT3. So if you are happy with the camera you have now, maybe you have an older Fuji and you want to upgrade, I would wait. Now, no one knows what features are going to be in a future Fuji XT3, but some of the things that have been announced in other cameras are in the Fuji XT100, a flip-out screen, like a vloggy screen, was announced. That's a possibility. The recent Fujis as well have had a lot of touch gestures and touch screens. So if that's something that's interesting to you on the Fuji XT3 future, you might have to wait to see if they announce that. Also, if you're someone that needs the newest gear and likes to have the newest camera, then you definitely have to wait. Okay, what about those? However, those of you that are buying a camera now, July, August 2018, and you have it down to these two, we'll discuss that after this. We're back. Let me give you the quick answer first. The quick answer is if you want the better camera, the camera with more features per dollar, it's gotta be the Fuji XT2. I'm sorry. As much as I love my Fuji XT20, and it will always be my #1 camera, let's face it, the Fuji XT2 is a step above the Fuji XT20 in a bunch of ways, which I'll go over in this video. Disclaimer, we're all different. We all have different likes and things. I recommend you go to the camera store and pick them up. Like I said, I made the mistake of looking in the EVF of the camera and being like, oh. But remember, when I picked up the Fuji XT20, it was because of its size. I actually wanted a camera that was smaller. But my quick recommendation is the Fuji XT2 does have more features than the Fuji XT20. However, the Fuji XT2 is missing some things. So let me go over what I love about the Fuji XT2 over the XT20 and vice versa. Okay, for me, by the way, the Fuji XT2's weather sealing. You know my Costa Rica trip, remember? I ended up leaving the camera a lot in the camera bag for fear of water getting into it. I could just imagine myself being in the rainy streets of Venice and being scared of bringing my camera out. I want to shoot in the rain without an umbrella. So weather sealing, that's a plus. 2, I've said it twice already, but the large EVF. I had no idea the EVF was so much better. It's larger, it's clearer. It's definitely better than the Fuji XT20. So if you love to shoot like yo, the Fuji XT2 has a better EVF. It actually also has a better screen, but that's not a deal breaker. It's just a little larger, a little clearer, a little larger. And it also has a little flippy flip this way, a vertical flippy flip. But the EVF. 3, it's a good gateway to be a pro with the Fuji X series cameras because of the dual card slots. Now, those of you that watched my last video, that was a little controversial. Some people were like, I'll shoot a wedding with one card. Watch me. We all have different opinions, which is awesome. But I like that if I was gonna work a job or a wedding or some kind of event, that I have dual card slots. Love that. Okay, so weather sealing, the dual card slots, and that beautiful EVF are my top 3. Okay, and now some features of the XT2 which are not deal breakers. I don't really care about them. It does feel better in the hand, but remember I like putting the grip on the Fuji XT20 to make it feel the same. Next, the stuff that I like about it is, believe it or not having touch. It's not a deal breaker not having touch. It's got a great joystick. The only thing I miss is when I hit playback, I always pinch to zoom. But I find with the Fuji X-T20, I'm not using the touch screen to focus that much. Everything is becoming touch, and so it was kind of nice not to have touch on the camera. I know that sounds weird, but it's a little bit more pure. Like, stay away from all the swiping and the touching, and that's from my phone. 1/8,000th of a second, not a deal breaker at all, but that's nice to have. The mic jack on the camera is a 3.5 standard mic jack. You don't need an adapter. A bunch of little extra function buttons. That's so nice. Thank you. Like I mentioned before, the vertical flippy flip is a nice addition. I can't even do it. It has little locking buttons for the shutter and the ISO. I don't really care about that, but that's cool. And a nice perk is the shutter sound is sexy compared to the Fuji X-T20. And the things I found a little tough with the camera. If you're a beginner with this camera, it doesn't have an auto mode. So if I hand this camera over to someone that doesn't know, you're gonna go through one of those things where you're like setting everything up as opposed to just switching in auto mode. Second, coming from the Fuji X-T20, having the drive button at the bottom is okay. I'm not really crazy about it. It's just like not that great. I would rather have a drive button, or I wish this dial was programmable on the left, kind of like the Fuji XT100 has. I shoot mostly ISO, auto ISO, so the dial here isn't really used that much, but maybe I'll start using it. Next, I didn't really like that the shutter dial just goes round and round and round. One of the great things about the Fuji X-T20 is without looking, if you turn counterclockwise, it goes to auto. You don't actually have to look. And the same with the drive button. I know that if I want to do video, I don't have to look. I could just, anyway. Okay, why get the Fuji X-T20? Oh, I love it. Okay, the Fuji X-T20 is, to me, an exciting, little, powerful camera. You know how much I love it. If you're starting out, I recommend the Fuji X-T20 because you can take it out of the box and just start working right away with auto mode. And the auto mode is pretty good on this camera, that it can take beautiful pictures. So if you're someone that's not really gonna get into photography that much, but you love the features, that auto mode button is great to get you started. The other thing is, I love taking just home movies quickly. June 17th, Father's Day 2018, and I'm about to get my gifts. Like little snippets of my kids or just a vacation pan. Switching it to video and switching to auto mode, hitting record and just taking a pan of something and walking on is fantastic. With the Fuji X-T2, you have to set up your video features. You have to change the drive here. You probably have to pick the right shutter speed if you want better video motion. It's just not as quick and convenient. Okay, the size. I wanted a pocketable camera like the X100 series. This is so much smaller and just as powerful as this camera. This is great for street photography, for being stealthy, for throwing in a bag, for having out on a restaurant if you're eating. So it is a little bit more manageable if you want a smaller camera. Again, try them out, feel them. This one's a little bulkier. It was too bulky when I first started. And again, remember how much more expensive this was last year. So Fuji X-T20 for size. Notice the lens I have on here. This is the 27mm 2.8, and it makes the camera so small. Okay, some other great features of the camera, but I don't really care. They're just perks. The touchscreen is nice if you want to focus really quick or pick your focus point. However, it could be something negative. The focus point on the Fuji X-T20 is always moving around because when you hold the camera or walk around with it, your chunky thumb may touch a corner of the screen and the focus point goes off to the side. So I found that I was turning off the focus point and just leaving it in the center. And if I needed to move it, I would use the little, the thingamabob. So like I said, I'm enjoying the joystick. If you don't mind setting your ISO, I have my ISO set to this back button. If you don't mind setting your ISO to a different button, then this drive dial is really nice. You can go from single shot, right to movie mode, to high speed. So having a drive dial is really, really nice. The buttons also sound different. So the buttons on the Fuji X-T2 I found them to be like really like too smooth after coming from the Fuji X-T2, but no big deal. It's got a pop-up flash, I never use it. The Fuji X-T2 comes with a separate flash in the kit. Again, if you're serious about flash work, I wouldn't use these tiny little emergency flashes, but it is nice to have on the Fuji X-T20 if in an emergency, but I haven't had any emergencies where I've needed it. Okay, so which one should you go with? To summarize, you should wait for the Fuji X-T3 if you love the newest stuff and you want to have that wait and see attitude to see what they come out with. What features is it going to have? Is it going to have a vlog screen? Is it going to have a touch screen? Maybe you don't want a touch screen. Is it going to have image stabilization, IBIS in the camera? Some rumors say no, that's going to stay in the HXH1 line. So these are things to wait for. Definitely wait if you have a Fuji that you're happy with right now. Wait till September. If you're buying the camera now, just for 200 bucks, I recommend the Fuji X-T2, even though I love the Fuji X-T20. However, if you're starting out, or if you want to be able to hand the camera over to someone so they can take your picture, the auto modes on this camera are so simple to use, so easy. This is definitely a great beginner camera. It's also the right size for vacation, for a bag. However, if I'm going somewhere where it's raining, like a rainforest, that was rough. I couldn't really use the camera as much as I wanted to. Yeah, you could protect it and this and that, but if you want a rugged camera, if you want a gateway camera to be pro with a dual card slot to do more professional work, if you feel like you're gonna shoot weddings for friends, the Fuji X-T2 for $200 more is definitely a better buy. You're my number one. I still love you. I still love you. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.